In this world, when talking about skills, they are supernatural abilities gained upon reaching level 50. An amateur might be granted a skill that makes him become a swordmaster, and the same goes for magic. This is why our MC, Shun Bright, kept accumulating experience points until he made it to level 50. Instead of receiving something useful and good after his years of leveling up, Shun is hit with something so absurd. Unlike the other adventurers, Shun receives a skill called Level Down. 5 years before everything went downhill, Shun was known as the Swift Rookie because of his amazing growth speed. However, he ended up with a defective skill that keeps lowering his level every time he finds himself in a fight. Due to the influence of this terrible skill, he kept getting weaker day after day. And with how far he has fallen, he has managed to find himself in the same class as civilians. All those he considered friends left him one by one, and those who hated him for growing too fast came after him and started persecuting him. Leading the list of these people is a brat named Gazaria. Gazaria beats him up every chance he gets. Shun is not happy with the way things are, but it is not like he has a choice. Shun is considered a loser, unlike his father, who was a hero. His father protected people when he was still around. Shun also has the same desire to be a hero like his father, which is why he kept traveling to various places in search of a solution. However, he found no solution to his problem, and in fact it got worse. Shun gets trapped in a dungeon with Gazaria, who resents him for being a prodigy. Gazaria is now a level 66 adventurer with a summoning skill. Gazaria beats Shun to a pulp while making fun of him. Shun has no way of fighting back, and all he can do is just take the beating like a mummy's boy. Gazaria hates him so much that he plans to unalive him in the dungeon. Since he doesn't want to do it himself, Gazaria summons 3 blood wolf monsters to help him take care of the situation. Shun cannot believe that Gazaria is ready to go to such lengths just to get rid of him. With a smirk on his face, Gazaria lets Shun know that he is finished, since there is no way he would be able to fight the monsters in his weakened state. Shun tries reasoning with Gazaria, telling him that things might go horribly wrong if the monsters lose control. Shun adds that other adventurers might even get hurt from Gazaria's selfish actions. However, Gazaria kicks Shun in the face, telling him that he doesn't care. Shun turns to his friends, telling them not to say anything to anyone about what went down in the dungeon. Being evil-minded just like Gazaria, his friends smile and agree not to tell a soul. They even plan to cook up a story that Shun was trying to challenge the dangerous dungeon, which is what led to his demise. After making sure that Shun is too weak to do anything, Gazaria and his friends leave. Shun figures out that he has no chance against the monsters. He gets up from where he is sitting and manages to hide behind cover. His plan is to avoid combat as much as he can, since Gazaria has already summoned more monsters before leaving. While hiding from the monster, Shun hears a woman screaming in the distance. From where he is hiding, Shun realizes that the blood wolves that Gazaria summoned are closing in on the innocent lady. Being the good guy that he is, Shun plans to help the girl. However, he is worried about his capabilities. He is wounded and weak, and if he tries to fight the monsters, he is going to get even weaker. Shun doesn't want to be reckless, and he thinks of waiting for a better adventurer to come to the girl's aid. Just then, he realizes that the wolf is closing in on the girl. Shun can no longer sit by and watch the girl get hurt. Without thinking twice, Shun jumps between the girl and the wolves. Shun knows that he has no chance against the wolves because of his low level. Shun plans to use his experience to fight the monsters. Before he received the useless skill, he had taken down countless monsters, and he plans to use his experience to take down the monster. Shun tells the lady to stay put while he takes care of the monster. Shun knows that the underbelly of the wolves is their weakness, and he plans to use it. Even with his low level, he believes that he still has what it takes to deal damage. One of the wolves charges towards Shun, and he puts his plan into action. He is able to hit the belly of the wolf to defeat it. Shun is relieved to have defeated one of the 3 wolves, leaving 2. The status screen shows Shun that he has gained experience from this, but his level has decreased by 2. Shun was level 1, but with the decrease in level, it runs down to 0, and in a twist of things, Shun's level enters negative. Error messages filled the screen as Shun was informed that his level had become -1. Shun wonders why he is receiving error messages when all he wants to do is protect the girl, become stronger, and help people just like his father did. Instead of giving up at that moment, Shun finds strength in the fact that his father is a strong man. Shun is determined to fight until the bitter end to help people who are in trouble. In a moment of defiance and rage, Shun denounces the defective skill. Shun says he doesn't care if his level goes down or not. He is ready to protect the girl with everything. Suddenly, time stops, and Shun hears a voice in his head. The voice acknowledges Shun's bravery and sense of justice and praises his commitment. Shun is left to wonder what is happening to him. On the status screen, Shun receives the notification that he has been freed from the curse because he managed to reach the negative level. In turn, Shun will get the chance to use the power hidden from the world. As his first error skill, Shun is informed that he has been blessed with the Flame Magic Level 1. The status screen tells him that he will need error points to use his error skills. Shun is confused by the entire information he is getting. With no understanding of what the system means by error points and power behind the world, Shun stands there like a clueless chicken. Just then, a guy who resembles Shun appears behind him. The guy has a golden aura around him and he looks cool while floating in the air. Shun figures out that the voice he heard earlier was from the guy. The guy lets Shun know that he doesn't have the power to stop time for long, which is why he is going to quickly explain things to him. The guy stretches his hand towards Shun, and images start flooding into his head. Shun starts getting some important info, but some details are hidden from him. Apparently, their world is under a great cause, but the reason remains unknown to Shun. The curse is what brings out the concept of levels. Shun is shocked to hear that the levels that they are always running after are nothing but a curse. Levels are supposed to make them stronger, but this happens to be the opposite. The curse prevents humans from going past level 99, but Shun has beaten the curse because he is someone who is not controlled by the constraints of their world. Before the guy disappears, he tells Shun that the more his level drops, the more he regains the power behind the world. He also tells Shun that he will receive the memories of a certain person, but he withholds the information on who the person is. Time starts running again, and Shun realizes that the wolves are still there. The wolves charge toward Shun, but with his new error skill called the Black Flame Magic, he unleashes a powerful magic strike that terminates the wolves in a loud explosion. Even Shun is shocked to see this. He is shocked that this is the first time of him using the new magic, but he somehow used it the right way. The girl behind Shun is amazed at how he was able to take care of all the wolves with just a single attack. Seconds later, Gazaria and his goons come rushing back to the scene because they heard the loud explosion from where they were. Gazaria and his guys are shocked to see that Shun is still alive and breathing. With everything he threw at Shun, Gazaria expects to find a body. The girl then tells Gazaria that Shun was the one who defeated all the monsters, leaving Gazaria even more surprised. Gazaria doesn't want to believe this, saying Shun is nothing more than a swift rookie. However, the girl stands up to Gazaria and she scolds him. Even Shun is impressed that the girl can put Gazaria in his place, which is something not many adventurers can do. Shun assumes that the girl is not from around there since the other adventurers respect Gazaria. The girl then decides to introduce herself. Her name is Lieza and she is a level 10 adventurer, but her skill remains unknown. This annoys Gazaria further because Shun is always getting the girls and he has done it again. While Gazaria is concerned about the girls, Shun is more worried about everything that is currently happening. His level is now -1, and for some mysterious reason the texts on the screen are garbled. Armic's current attack power is 7, his defense is 6, his magic defense is 13, and his speed is just 7. On the error skills page there is only one skill listed, and this is the Black Flame Magic. Having an internal monologue, Shun figures that the magic he used earlier would have required a considerable amount of training. However, he still cannot understand everything that is happening. Nonetheless, Shun smiles because he can finally help people with his newfound power. This is something his father had done, and since he wants to be like his father, this is his chance. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the dungeon changes, leaving everybody worried. They look around to see a void dragon emerging from the shadows. The dragons are considered extremely dangerous, with their level hidden too. Shun asks Gazaria if the dragon's emergence is his doing, but he says no. With shock and fear written all over him, Gazaria reveals that he doesn't have what it takes to summon such a powerful monster. Since Gazaria is not the one who summoned the monster, they are left with the question of where the dragon came from. The dragon lets out a loud screech that hurts the boys. The pain from the dragon's scream also triggers something in Shun's memory. He knows what the dragon is, but can't seem to accurately remember everything. In a twist of things, the wolves that Shun has defeated suddenly come back to life, and they look even scarier than before. Shun figures that this is the dragon's doing, but he doesn't want to believe that the dragon has the power to revive the dead. In a moment of foolishness, Gazaria stands up against the dragon. Shun screams at him to get away, but it is already too late for him. Gazaria gets hit by the dragon's breath, throwing him back and leaving his face disfigured. This clearly shows Shun what he has been missing. Apparently, the dragon can manipulate the time of its target. the dragon managed to change the scene by reviving the wolves. Just then, Lise jumps between the Shun and the dragon. She aims to protect Shun because Shun protected her earlier. Shun urges the girl not to act recklessly because the dragon is not to be messed with. Shun is more scared of the dragon because this is the first time he has heard of a dragon with time-manipulating powers. The dragon turns its attention toward Lise and unleashes its dragon breath. Before the attack hits Lise, Shun rushes toward her with a gamble. He pushes the girl out of the way and gets hit instead. Shun screams out in pain but refuses to back down from the pain. He motivates himself to endure the hit and the pain that follows. It turns out that Shun has a plan up his sleeve. With the dragon's attack causing him so much harm, the system message pops up with the error messages again. In reaction to getting hit, the system does something crazy. Shun can feel the change in the atmosphere, and he lets off a wicked smile. The system automatically takes control of the situation. A barrier is deployed, and every attack toward Shun disintegrates. Because of his presence in the negative realm, all of Shun's injuries get healed. Shun is glad that his gamble paid off, and with what he has learned so far, the memories flooding through him seem to be his own. Shun feels like a new person as he stands in front of the dragon with no fear. The dragon looks scarier than before as he hits Shun with another wave of attack, but this does nothing to Shun. Shun activates his black flame magic and hits the dragon with it. The dragon screams in pain as the attack leaves a portion of its face blown off. Bleeding and angry, the dragon charges at Shun with the intent to kill, but Shun dodges its attack. Shun remembers what the mysterious guy from before told him about having complicated memories. However, the memories are still not clear to Shun. Shun activates the error skill and combines it with his own innate skill called the Secret of Sword Origin. With this, he charges at the dragon, and before the angry beast can react, it gets blitzed. With the dragon defeated, Shun gains more experience, and his level also goes down to -3. Due to this, Shun is given another error skill. Shun doesn't understand everything about the skills yet, but he knows that he has reached a new and advanced realm. After defeating the dragon, Shun leaves the dungeon, but Lise follows him. Shun is headed to the guild, and since Lise is not an adventurer, he is forced to ask the girl why she is following him. Lise simply replies that she is following Shun because she respects him. She has taken Shun as her master, and even though she has no business at the Adventurers Guild, Shun is heading there, which automatically makes it her business. Shun still doesn't understand what the girl is trying to achieve, but Lise doesn't care. She is ready to stick with Shun since he saved her life. Shun doesn't think Lise owes him anything, but since he can't force her to leave him alone, he decides to just let her be. Shun recounts his experience in the dungeon. He managed to gather some materials after defeating the dragon and the other monsters. To be safe, Shun is planning to keep what happened in the dungeon a secret. In addition to this, there is still much more that he needs to understand about the negative level and the mysterious memories in his head. Shun then tells Lise that they need to head to the guild so that they can exchange the materials they gathered for money. In a twist of things, Lise tells Shun that he doesn't need to sell materials at the guild because she is willing to support him. Shun is confused by what he just heard, but before he can probe further, he hears some guys talking about the dragon that appeared in the dungeon. This is not pleasing to Shun because he doesn't expect the news to spread so fast. Shun knows that keeping everything under the rug is the best approach because he can't afford to make enemies who envy him, just like Azaria did. He then turns to Lise to tell her that they need to keep everything that happened in the dungeon a secret, and Lise assures him that her mouth is sealed tightly. Shun is more impressed that Lise understands him more than he gives her credit for. They soon arrive at the guild, and as they step in, Shun can already see everyone staring at him. The adventurers are surprised that Shun has not given up on being an adventurer, even though he has a trash skill. Lisa can also hear the whispers, but she urges Shun to ignore whatever they are saying. The most usual thing is that every adventurer receives one skill, but with the new power that Shun just unlocked, he is blessed with 2 error skills. Shun knows fully well that the right thing to do is to keep his mouth shut about it. Shun arrives at the reception and presents the materials to the guild attendant. Shun brought wolf materials for the exchange of money. The attendant asks for a few minutes to clarify everything. The attendant asks Shun if he was in dungeon 37 and he says yes. Shun is already worried that people have found out about his fight in the dungeon. To avoid suspicion is why he hasn't brought out the dragon materials. The attendant tells Shun that a dangerous monster appeared in dungeon 37, and because of this, Gazaria hasn't even come back. However, she is relieved that Shun came back just fine. Just then, the atmosphere in the room changes. A magic circle appears in the room, leaving everyone shocked. Appearing from the magic circle is the S-rank adventurer, Eurisha. She sits elegantly like a peacock while everyone in the room trembles in fear. Eurisha is one of the strongest adventurers, and this is so because of her illusion powers. The attendant quickly asked Eurisha why she had come to the guild. Eurisha informs the attendant that the dragon was already defeated when she got to the dungeon. This shocks the attendant, but Eurisha continues by adding that she found Bloodwolf's material all over the dungeon. At that moment, Eurisha turns her attention towards Shun. She asks Shun if he knows what happened in the dungeon. With Eurisha standing in front of him, Shun smells a sweet fragrance in the air, leaving him to wonder where it came from. Just then, one of the adventurers cuts in, telling Eurisha that the guy she is talking to is basically useless. Eurisha gets mad at the adventurer for speaking to her when she didn't ask him. Out of annoyance, Eurisha uses her power on the adventurer. The adventurer immediately goes dumb, with blood coming out of his nose and mouth. Eurisha tells the adventurer that he will regain his speech in about a year. After taking care of the lousy adventurer, Eurisha turns her attention towards Shun again. She asks him again if he has any idea of what happened at the dungeon. But Shun lies, telling Eurisha that he has no idea what he is talking about. Eurisha doesn't probe further and decides to walk away. Even Shun is surprised that Eurisha backed off without any argument. Suddenly, Eurisha turns back with a sword in hand. Eurisha charges towards Shun, leaving the guy totally confused as to why she is targeting him. Just as Eurisha was about to reach him, Shun had no choice but to defend himself. He uses his skill, but Eurisha disappears and reappears behind Shun, all thanks to her illusion power. Eurisha now has a free space to hit Shun from behind, but Shun still manages to block the attack. Their swords hit each other, leaving a clashing effect. Eurisha is surprised to see that Shun is using a strange skill. However, Eurisha believes that Shun still has nothing on her because of her illusion skills. Using her power, she is able to get closer to Shun. She then asks him if he is willing to reveal his secret. Before Shun can reply, Eurisha lets him know that she is a champion of justice and that she is on the lookout for clues about error monsters. Eurisha threatens to render Shun dumb forever if she finds out that he is on the enemy's side. Fear grips Shun as he realizes that Eurisha's threat is no joke. Realizing that Eurisha has him backed into a corner, Shun decides not to hold back. In the presence of everyone in the guild, Shun activates his second error skill. This leaves Eurisha and the other adventurers shocked and stunned. With his new skill activated, Shun feels more power flowing through him. He goes after Eurisha with a powered attack, but she manages to dodge. With the new display of power, Eurisha believes that Shun was holding back, but she is not so sure about this. In reality, she is right to be confused because Shun just got a new skill during their battle. Meanwhile, the other adventurers are wondering why Shun is able to stand up to Eurisha's might. The adventurers cannot believe that Shun, who is considered to be the trash guy, is holding his own against the S-rank adventurer. As for Shun, he is still trying to figure out his new power. He had a faint idea of what the skill does, and it seems he was right. Judging from what he can see on the status screen, the new skill has boosted his attack power. His attack power is now 210 from the measly 7 that it was before. It is common knowledge that attack power doesn't usually change unless an adventurer levels up, but his skill seems to have changed the odds of that. Just then, Eurisha uses her power on Shun again. Suddenly finds himself in the middle of a destroyed city. There are monsters running around destroying things while humans beg for help. Shun is shocked by the destruction and chaos that is all around him, but he figures out that it is an illusion. He then turns to Eurisha, asking her what she wants by showing him everything she did. Eurisha is impressed that Shun is not just strong, but he also has what it takes to be calm in certain situations. She is more impressed that Shun is able to make the right judgment even in times of chaos. She also noticed that Shun is upset with the scene she showed him, and by this Eurisha concludes that Shun is not an enemy informant. Eurisha lifts the illusion veil and apologizes to Shun. With her recent action, she has been able to figure out that Shun is not affiliated with the enemy. Shun is also surprised that everything Eurisha did was not out of malice but a way to draw out information. It seems Eurisha also figured out that Shun is trying to run away from anything that will expose him. Eurisha commends Shun for his skills because not many people have what it takes to parry her sword. Shun appreciates the commendation and he thanks Eurisha for her kind gesture. After Eurisha is done with Shun, she turns to the adventurer from before and she reverses the spell she placed on him. With this, the adventurer is able to speak again. Not ready to see a repeat of what happened, the adventurer and his friend run out of the guild. Eurisha then tells Shun that she is willing to do something for him as a way to apologize for causing him trouble. She suggests that Shun sit down, and she promises not to do anything bad to him. Eurisha sits down with Shun and Liese. This draws attention from the rest of the guys in the guild. They all line up in a queue, begging Eurisha to acknowledge them. Being the mean person she is, Eurisha talks to them the way she likes, but the guys do not mind. Shun is confused about what he is seeing, and he asks Eurisha. Eurisha then reveals that the guys are a part of a fan club. Eurisha confesses that she doesn't like boys, but proceeds to ask something ridiculous. She asks Shun to go out with her, leaving the guy in a state of shock. Even the other people who are in the guild are shocked by what they just heard. Shun is forced to ask Eurisha again what she meant by asking her out. Even Lies is not pleased, and she is already barking at Eurisha. Surprisingly, Eurisha starts laughing, and she apologizes for the misunderstanding. She lets Shun know that she didn't mean it the way they did. Eurisha then breaks it down so that they can all understand. She tells Shun about the elite organization called Levantin. Eurisha wants Shun to follow her to the organization and be an active member of the organization. This comes as a shock to Shun, and he stands up to protest the request. When talking about the Levantin organization, it is an establishment where only S-rank adventurers are gathered. It is considered to be the kingdom's highest-level organization. Eurisha explains that in recent years, error monsters that can't have their levels measured, just like the void dragon that Shun fought, have been appearing in the kingdom. These error monsters are said to have tremendous power that is capable of wiping out towns and villages. As a countermeasure to these dangerous beasts is why the Levantin organization was formed. Shun stands up from where he is sitting, reminding Eurisha that he is just an E-rank adventurer, all thanks to his level-down skill. However, Eurisha is not ready to believe that Shun is weak because she is confident that he is the one who defeated the Void Dragon. Eurisha lets Shun know that error monsters are so powerful that they even cause S-rank adventurers like herself problems. Because of how dangerous the monsters are, Eurisha is ready to scout anyone who she believes is capable of dealing with them. Shun then points out the fact that Eurisha is scouting him in front of so many people, but Eurisha tells him that Levantin is not hidden from most adventurers. It turns out that only Shun is clueless about the organization. Everyone in the room is already staring at him with jealousy and envy just because he got an invitation to the organization. Eurisha tries to sweet-talk Shun further by letting him know that he can easily get back at those who have hurt him if he joins the organization. At that moment, Shun remembers the last time he saw his father. His father left the house, promising to come back one day. Since then, he has not seen his father, and this is where his passion to become an adventurer grew from. He has promised himself that he is going to find his father. Eurisha then holds Shun's hand, urging him to follow her because the organization's leader would like to see him. Shun thinks over the proposal and agrees that it is nice, but outrightly tells Eurisha that he is not interested in joining the organization. This answer shocks Eurisha as she doesn't expect Shun to turn down such a good offer. Eurisha is not ready to take no for an answer, and she decides to take matters into her own hands. Shun smells the sweet fragrance from before again, and before he knows what is happening, Eurisha is already behind him, holding him down. She puts Shun under her influence, and unable to fight Eurisha's power, Shun begs Eurisha to take him along. Thankfully, Shun's willpower is strong. He is able to figure out that he is currently under an illusion spell. He manages to break free of the spell and he pushes Eurisha away. He admits that the offer is very tempting, but lets Eurisha know that he has things he wants to do. Eurisha is shocked to see this as she doesn't expect Shun to break out of her illusion spell, and he did this by his own power without any external interference. Lies steps in, telling Eurisha to back off because Shun is not interested. Eurisha is disappointed but has no choice but to respect Shun's wishes since he has no interest whatsoever. However, she tells Shun that it is true that the organization is having issues with error monsters. She points out the incident of the Void Dragon, trying to let Shun know that the appearance of the error monsters is a mystery. Shun thinks about it too, and he agrees with the deduction.